Hey y'all, this is your girl Jessica with Mine and Made Me Do It, and I am here with a new pattern for you guys. This is the Poppy pattern. Um, this is the new Peony Pattern Company, you guys. Like, this is so great. Congratulations to my girl Natasha. All right, so and I'm super excited that I can be able to do this tutorial with you guys. So thank you so much. All right, so I'm just gonna start out telling you what I have here. As you can see, I have skirt pieces. I'm doing the tiered skirt, so you're going to need 6 pieces of those. Grab your cutting chart, okay, and go get those measurements, okay. So you're going to have 6. 2 of your skirt pieces will be the top tier, and the other 4 are going to be your bottom tiers, okay. So go ahead and get those pieces cut out. All right, so cut out your bodice pieces. You're going to need 2. You're going to need the main and the lining. Your back bodice piece, you're going to need 4 of those, 2 main and 2 lining. That's your placket piece right there. 4 strap pieces, you're going to need those also. And the flutter sleeves. I went ahead and put my flutter sleeves together. So I did the rolled hem option, and if you're going to do just the regular hem option, what you'll need to do is just fold the straight edge of your flutter sleeve by 1/4 inch to the wrong side, and then fold it again with 1/4 inch to the wrong side, and then you'll just sew. So after you're done hemming, you would just sew 2 rows of gathering stitches along that curved edge there, okay? I also want to add that on your pattern pieces, you have several different notches. So I would highly suggest that you get your fabric marker and, mark on the notches. Transfer the notches that's on your pattern to your fabric, because your flutter sleeves has a front and back option. So that's really important, okay? So make sure that you mark where the front of your flutter sleeves is. All right, so I got my front bodice piece here, right side up. On the pattern, it tells you that if you want to do this optional, do a stay stitch along all your curves, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm not, because your girl, let us see how she like to cut some of them steps out, but you don't have to, but I like to do that. Okay, ladies, so now we're going to attach our straps to the front bodice, all right? So you're going to have 4 pieces. Just grab 2 of those. And what we're going to do is we're going to pin and sew our strap pieces to our shoulder pieces. As you can see here, I was just trying to figure out, because, how it should lay. It should lay, perfectly on your shoulder seams there. But if you want to make sure, you're going to have that little peak down at the bottom. If you go look at your pattern piece, you'll see that it's like a peak, like a little, you know. So right now I am pinning my straps together, and I'm going to do the same step for my lining, all right? And I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance to attach. All right, let's attach our straps. All right, ladies, so I have my bodice and my strap pieces attached there, okay? So what you're going to see next is I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm measuring a 1/2 inch on my front, and I'll be measuring a 1/2 inch on my back, on the back of my bodice, okay? And this is where I will be lining up my flutter sleeves, okay? So if hopefully you can tell that that's where, and this pretty much just say, this is where I'll start and stop, all right? So do that for your bodice, and then grab your flutter sleeves. So if you can remember me telling you earlier that your flutter sleeves has a front piece, and you've already marked that. So just make sure that the front piece of your flutter sleeve is matching the front of your bodice. So we're going to pin our flutter sleeves to our bodice. We're going to do the same step for the other side. Okay, so let's attach our flutter sleeves using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, okay? We're going to do that and I'll be back. All right, so our flutter sleeves are attached to our bodice. So I'm just going to put this to the side and we're going to grab our back bodice pieces, okay? Like I said, you're going to have 4 of those. You're going to have 2 main and 2 lining, all right? Make sure again that you transfer your notches, okay, with your fabric marker. So then you'll know where to place your straps, okay? So what you're going to see here is me um, making sure that my notches are, that I can see them, okay? So, okay, so with the right sides together, I'm going to place my main and my lining together, all right? And where those notches that you can see that I've made, I am going to take a pin and I'm going to place my pin where that notch is, all right? And this is where I am going to sew. All right, I'm going to do the same step for the other one, right sides together. Place my pin. And so right there at that top edge where I pin there, where I'm pointing, that is where I'm going to sew my 1/2 inch seam allowance, okay? And then I'm going to turn my back bodice right side out and I'm going to press. Let's do that and I'll be back. Okay, so right here is me just doing a close-up of where I'm going to sew. And as you can see there is that straight edge. Now I'm telling you, do not sew the back edge there. You know, the straight back edge. Don't mess with it yet. Okay, so I have pressed my seams open for my back bodice, as you can see. And you see the 1/2 inch seam allowance. Boom, got it open. Now I'm going to pull it down and I pressed it again. I've already did this, but I wanted to show you what it looks like. Okay, so you do that for your both of your back bodices, all right? So now I'm just going to grab my front bodice piece here. All right, with right sides together, grab your back bodice piece, and we're going to line this bodice, line your back bodice to your front bodice there. You see, matching it up real nice and simple, okay? Just like that. So do that with, repeat the same step with your other bodice, all right? And we're going to pin and sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance, okay? All right, so I have attached my back bodice pieces to my front bodice piece, okay? All right, so now I'm just going to like take a pin and put my straps inside, like, and pin them together because I don't want to sew my back bodice pieces to something else. I mean, you don't work too hard to mess this up, okay? So that's what I just did. Now grab your your lining. I'm sorry. We're gonna put those right sides together, okay? And we're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance along the sides here, all right, and along that neck edge. You do not have to have those sewn, your little strap pieces, okay? So don't worry about that. So let's pin and sew. All right, so make sure that you get those flutter sleeves out the way, okay? So tuck them babies in because you don't want to sew those together. All right, now let's take this to our sewing machine. We're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance to attach, and then I'm going to turn this baby right side out. I have my bodice turned right side out, Now we're going to attach our straps. We're going to put our straps into the back bodice, all right? Okay, so let's flip our bodice onto the wrong side. So I'm going to take my back bodice piece and I'm going to separate the main and the lining. And I'm going to take my strap and I'm going to place them where those two notches are right there, my little marks. I'm gonna place them there. All right, and then I'm gonna close it. All right, so grab your pins. See, I'm only doing this because it didn't make sense. Well, I had to help it make sense for me. So okay, so I'm opening my back bodice piece here. You see I got that 1/2 inch seam allowance there. And I'm just going to pinch my straps in between those, my main and my lining there, okay? So I'm going to pinch it in there where it's placed. And then I am going to get my pins and I'm going to pin that close, okay? All right, so I am pinning along that straight edge there, and I'm going to pin here along the short edge, okay? I'm going to repeat the same step with the other side. So I'm just going to take this to the machine and I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance, all right? So let's do this other side. I'm going to just go slow again and just place it. Close it. Those pieces are right side together. Take this to our sewing machine and sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance to attach, and I'll be back. All right, our bodice is done. So now we're just gonna, you can go ahead and top stitch and add your buttons or your snaps to your top. All right, ladies, grab your skirt and your placket piece and let's construct our skirts. All right, so let's construct our skirt. So first we're going to make our placket for our skirt piece. So we're going to open our skirt, our back skirt, and we're going to find the center of our skirt. Grab your ruler, and what you're going to do is you're going to measure down 3 inches. So take your fabric marker, and measure down to 3 inches. So now I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut that 3 inches there. And then I'm going to like make a W shape here. If you look at the pattern, it gives you a close-up of what it looks like. And boom, all right? So I'm just going to now grab my placket piece here. So I am going to take the placket piece here, and the right side of my placket piece is going to touch the wrong side of my skirt placket, all right? And I'm going to match it up evenly, and I will pin and sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, so I have attached my placket piece, sewing a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to fold the raw edge of my placket piece 3/4 inch, and then I will press, and then I will fold it over the raw edge there. Okay, so I'm just measuring right now. And so I'm just going to fold it again, press it, pin it in place, and top stitch it with a 1/4 1/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I have top stitched my placket piece here, and now I am just going to open it up, open my skirt piece up, and I'm going to fold one side, which would be that one side there, and I'm going to fold it back to the wrong side, and then I will just do a stay stitch right there to keep it in place. So I'm going to do that, and look, that's what it's going to look like when it's done. Okay, but I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. All right, so our placket piece is done. Now I am going to um, sew the top part of the skirt first. Okay, so I'm going to right sides together. Those will be the two pieces that you need for to attach to the bodice first. So I'm going to put the right sides together, and I am going to pin along my short ends there, my front, and then I will take this to my machine, sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I will serge my raw ends. So when I'm done with my two skirt pieces front and back, I will also grab my 4 other pieces that I have, and I will attach them all at the short end, um, serge, well, sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I will serge. So you will end up with like a big hoop. Okay, so truth moment. I did not have enough tier fabric, so I only had like 3 pieces. 3 pieces of my tier fabric, okay? But you're supposed to have 4, but it's for Miley, so therefore, I mean, it worked fine. Okay, so I have already went ahead and gathered my 4/3. Remember what we talked about? I'm supposed to be 4. So I've already gathered my tier pieces um, of my fabric. Now I am going to attach it to the top piece, my front and back top piece here. Okay, so I'm going to match it at the side seams there. Match my tier pieces to my side seam, and I am going to gather it so it can fit like. And this will be right sides together. The right side of my tier pieces will be touching the right side of my front and back skirt piece. Okay, so now let's attach it with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I have attached my tier pieces there. It doesn't look too bad being that I'm short one, but it looks all right. So then I've also went ahead and um, gathered my top where my bodice is going to be. And now let's attach our bodice. Okay, so right here I am finding the side seam. So I'm taking pins and I am pinning where my side seams, the side seams of my bodice. Okay, so then I know where to match it to my skirt. Now I am placing my bodice inside of my skirt, right sides together. I'm taking my back placket piece and I am putting it with my on the back of my bodice here. Okay, so I'm pinning, and now I'm going to take my side seams and I'm going to pin. I'm going to do the same step for the other side. And now what I'm going to do is I am just going to gather my skirt to fit my bodice. So take your pins and gather your skirt to fit your bodice. I will also sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance to attach and serge my raw ends. Okay, so now let's take this to the machine and attach our bodice to our skirt. Okay, ladies, we are done. This dress is super cute. I already went ahead and hemmed the bottom of my dress. Um, and I also went ahead and attached my buttons to the back of my dress. So this is super cute. Like I said, this is the Peony Pattern Company. Super cute. Love it. I love this so much. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, click the notification bell. Do all of that good stuff. Like this video. This is the first time ever, I believe, doing a voiceover. And it's because your girl forgot to turn on the doggone mic. So that's what happened. But hopefully this one, I won't have to do the voiceover again. If I do, then hey, I'm getting some good practice. So head over to the Peony Pattern and grab you a copy of the Poppy dress. This is so cute. You can get this with, you can have flutter sleeves. If you don't want flutter sleeves, you can do the top, tier skirt, all of that. As you can see, I ran short on some fabric, so my tiers is 3 instead of 4, but it still look great. I'm going to post a picture so you can see what my girl look like because she looks adorable. And I may get a monogram on the front. I don't know, but it's super cute. But thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Um, thanks, Natasha. Love you, girl. Okay, okay. All right, I'm done. So have a good day.